and illusions have fallen away in the beginning stages of moving in that direction. And now you realize, oh my goodness, I can do anything. I don't know if you've seen the movie Encanto, but I think about Isabella's song, like, what else can I do, right? Hello, this reading is for... Thank you so much for the opportunity to read for you. You right now stated that you feel like you're at a crossroads with choosing between continuing with your currently lined up job. You would be starting in July. That you said is very prestigious. I never know how to pronounce that. And your other option is to drop it all and pursue creative spiritual work. So, if you guys have something to say, come back in the reading. I say that to all of my jumpers because I never know if I'm just a sloppy shuffler or if they're trying to say something to me. Okay. So we're going to take a look at this crossroads. All right, I have a vision in mind for this spread, and I'm just going to, of course, trust the question and take your word for it that it isn't possible for you to do a little of both right now. So let's take a look here, and we're going to have this bottom card here representing, oh, can you see that as in frame? Yes. Okay. The advice for you. All right. And on this left fork of the path is going to be the energy surrounding this job that you have lined up. Okay. So the energy surrounding this current job, and then what would be the likely result in the short term should you continue going on this path here. Go to the white candle. And then what is the likely long-term outcome of this path. All right, then over here on the right fork, we have dropping it all and pursuing creative spiritual work. All right, what is the overarching energy surrounding that? What is the likely short-term outcome should you take steps in that direction? And what is the likely long-term outcome of that path? All right, and we're going to read this advice card down here last. And this card here is tingling to me, so wasn't expecting to use an 8th card, but I'm going to put you here. We'll take a look at you in a moment. Okay, so let's start over here on the left. And so I'm already getting this feeling that this is head versus heart, but that might be just my projection. It could be the total opposite here, so won't make assumptions, but let's just start looking at the card. So what is the energy surrounding this current lined up job? And we have, all right, we have the Page of Swords. Pardon me. All right, so the Page of Swords here, I see you beginning this job with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. All right, the Page of Swords being a card of forward action, of enthusiasm. Of course, the page is young, so this might indicate being new in this field, or at least new-ish, or this being a job or career that is new to you. But it can also point to communication. So is this going to be a job that will require you to sharpen your communication skills? Are you going to be speaking publicly or needing to communicate in a new way that may be new and exciting for you, that may, again, sharpen your blade, so to speak? So this is showing a very promising beginning. So we can take a look at the other cards just to get more of a complete picture here. But I'm actually curious now. I'm wondering if this might be somehow involved in the field of communication or just the job itself would require a lot of communicating with either your peers or with the public, or involving, giving talks of some sort, or something of that nature. But let's take a look at the likely outcome in the short term of continuing to move forward in that direction. Okay. And we have the Fool. So I love seeing these two cards together. All right, they're very youthful energy, a lot of optimism, a lot of enthusiasm, and just kind of going for it. All right, so seeing these two together, it just kind of reinforces the idea, and hopefully I'm not missing the mark here, but I'm getting the impression that this would be something for you that is either new, or where as you're beginning, that you may simply have that beginner's enthusiasm and freshness and excitement and ability to look at things from a fresh perspective, because you are coming in. Of course, I can tell by your question that this would be a new job for you, whether or not the field is new for you. But I'm just seeing a lot of youthful energy, enthusiasm, and action, and leaping into something new with good results. So let's take a look at the possible or likely long-term outcome of this option, and we have the Magician. Okay, very, very positive message so far. So I'm going to note it looks like a journey here from the Page of Swords to the Fool to the Magician. Is that in frame? Okay. And of course, the Magician is a card that we always love to see, right? So this is showing you having all of the tools available to you at your disposal, right at your fingertips, and weaving them masterfully. So I see you becoming a master in your field, in really, really doing it. Like I see you becoming very successful and feeling that flow, and that you are able to take everything that you have learned and everything that you have accomplished and integrate that, and to become extremely masterful at your job and in your position and in your field, and to be seen as someone who can literally make magic happen. So far, this is looking like a really great option for you. But I want to take a look at the other side so that we can kind of compare the two. But I'm loving the energy here. So taking a look here at dropping this and moving forward with a creative pursuit. And the energy surrounding that is the Hanged Man. All right. So the Hanged One here has suspended themselves voluntarily. Okay, so this person is upside down, but you see the crown of enlightenment here because they are seeing the world from a different perspective. And that's the whole reason for this here. Okay, to hang yourself upside down, to literally see the world from a different perspective. All right, perhaps literally, maybe figuratively. But the point here is, should you continue on this path, it may flip everything upside down for you, which is not always a very clean process, right? That can be messy, but in hindsight, it is absolutely necessary. You look back and realize, wow, everything that I thought about the world is completely flipped upside down. And so I'm curious to see what cards come up moving forward here. The likely outcome for continuing on this path, and we have Death. Okay, already seeing quite a clear contrast here between the two sides. However, for me, death, what is death but the opposite of life? I know that sounds very simplistic there, but what is life? Life is growth. Life is change. Life is movement. Life is forward motion. And so with the death card, this could be the death of illusions, especially because it's coming up right next to the Hanged Man. Okay, it can be the death of a perspective. It can be the death of the life that you thought that you would have moving in this direction here. All right. There are so many things that this death can mean, and oftentimes people like to say that death means change because you're no longer moving in one direction. Things start to fall away. All right, illusions start to fall away. Things that we thought were once important no longer are. And there are things in our life that may not be serving us any longer, that do need to die in order for us to grow and to flourish. I am seeing here so far, actually, before I say that, let's take a look at this third card and just validate what I'm saying here with the cards. So, most likely long-term outcome here is the Seven of Cups. All right. So this card often indicates a lot of choice presented to you and the indecision that can come with that choice. Perhaps your mind has been opened up to the realities of the world and what is truly out there, and illusions have fallen away in the beginning stages of moving in that direction, and now you realize, oh my goodness, I can do anything. I don't know if you've seen the movie Encanto, but I think about Isabella's song, like, what else can I do? Right? So looking at these cards together, should you move on the path of your creative endeavor, it is not looking so clean and clear-cut as this path here. It's possible that you might move on this path and never look back and live a really great life and have a very successful career and everything is gravy. Now, it may be that you choose to go on this path, which might be messier. It might be more challenging, but it might be the most interesting, right? It might be the one that challenges you, that causes you to look at the world in a way that you might never have done so. It might be the journey of a lifetime, perhaps. You know, to me, if I can make a biblical reference, I'm not even religious, but it's just the one thing that stood out to me, maybe because it's Easter, is like the idea of living in Eden versus biting the apple, or the red pill versus the blue pill, right? Which one do you take? So that's the impression that I'm getting from the two paths here, which is super fascinating to me. So I'm really anxious, really eager to take a look at this advice card here, which I'm hoping is kind of a tiebreaker, so to speak, to see what it has to say. And we have the Four of Wands. To me, this card is saying that you can't lose either way, that there's going to be celebration, that there's going to be achievement, that there's going to be happiness at the end of each road, and that there are going to be things to celebrate, there are going to be things to appreciate, and that there's going to be, once again, success either way, right? Just pure, blissful, ignorant happiness, doing things, the way we're supposed to, versus going on this deep journey of discovery and looking at things in a new and different way and expanding horizons. Now, as I mentioned, I was not intending to draw this 8th card, but it was tingling to me and I thought it was important and relevant. So let's take a look at it and ask for additional advice. And we have the 6 of Cups. Okay. So this speaks to me of childhood innocence, of memories, of the home. And I think what it's asking you to do is to think about what lit you up when you were a child. What things were important to you before you had to grow up and be an adult and make the right decisions? Because that is the core of who you are. And that child still exists there inside of you. And it's important to still make that little kid happy too. So looking at these two paths and the way that they could both go, listening to your gut, and as I turned over each card and as things started to unfold, which one really started to light you up inside? Which one evoked memories of the past when things were a lot simpler? So I love that this card came up, and I think it'll help to give a little bit more more clarity, because as I said, to me, and it could just be my interpretation of these cards, right? Someone might look at this and go, oh my gosh, that doesn't look like fun. I want this way, right? But to me, I see this both as once again, just both interesting and exciting, and possibly it has the potential to be successful, just in different ways. So it's up to you about what you want to do. Right? And at the end of the day, that is the message that I seek to give through the tarot, is just to remind people of their personal power and how much control that you do have over any given situation. But I hope that this was insightful for you. I hope that it gave you a little bit more clarity, perhaps even just on your own feelings as things start to unfold. I like to use the example of flipping a coin, right? Oftentimes, if you are going to make a decision based off of flipping a coin, there's a moment right before you toss it where you realize that you want one particular outcome. You're hoping it lands on heads, right? So I wonder if you had this feeling as I started turning over the cards, and that right there is the answer for you. Because at the end of the day, you still have to do it. Whichever path you choose, you still have to do it. So it's an absolute pleasure to read for you today. I look forward to reading for you again in the future. And if there is a decision that you come to in the near future, especially since your job is scheduled to begin in July, come back to me and we can explore that one in even more detail. So I will be sending you a PDF recap of our reading, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.